Ooh, what's up and welcome into this final post-game pod of the Program Guys podcast. The Oklahoma Sooners fell to the Florida State Seminoles in the Cheez-It Bowl on Thursday night, 35-32 in Orlando. You can follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page Program Guys Podcast, however you get your podcast. And also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to hit 1,500 subs. That would be amazing. I think we're like 1,300 and something right now. Keep on hitting that subscribe button. Helps us out more than you know.
Been stuck on 13 for a minute. If you're following and you like the content, give it to one person. Yeah. Maybe they don't like it. Maybe it's weird to suggest a podcast. But all it takes is one.
Yeah, all it takes is one. I'm here, as you can see, I guess if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Mark Hall, Ryan Tyson, no Patrick Hertzberger, Matt Gann this week for this post-game pod. We're doing this on a Friday morning. Thanks to the boys for hopping in. Boys, just overall quick thoughts, your 1 minute or so synopsis of how you're feeling less than 24 hours after OU fell in their last game of the season.
I'll give you less than a minute. Better than I thought I would.
Okay.
I think the team overall came out, they played with intention. They played like they'd been coached the last 2 weeks. And I was more impressed than I was disappointed. I think everything is there for us to have a successful next season. Naysayers, we're going to get into it, right? We're going to get into it. But more okay than I thought I'd be.
Right.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, I think is the words I would use, especially with how, we're going to get in the offense and defense, but I thought the offense played extremely well for how many opt-outs we had, some of our biggest guys.
For sure.
And I thought the defense played about the same that we've seen all year, which is not great. So,
yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised with the offense. And overall, I feel okay today. I feel that, given the time that Brent had this month to get them ready, I felt like he got them ready. We've talked about not having the horses all year. We definitely didn't have the horses in this game. I'm excited for 2023, and I am so excited for this defensive class to come in, Lord Almighty.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is I am pleasantly surprised for sure. But as I said on the preview pod earlier in the week, I expected Florida State to win this game. I expected Florida State to cover 9.5, but I also said that I was still going to be upset when OU inevitably had the chance to win the game and pooped it away, which is what they did, which is what they've done all year. It's a fifth game lost by 3 points or less, or by 3 points, I should say. Their first losing season since 1998. It's tough. It's not fun, but I agree with all your points. I think Brent and his staff prepared this team as well as they possibly could to be ready for this game. At some point, you just don't have the guys. And that's what last night was about for me. And we'll get into it a little more. But overall, I'm proud of this team and proud of their effort. But also that doesn't mean that you can't say that they had the game won yet again. And this team could easily be a 9-4 football team as opposed to a 6-7 one. That's where I'm at. So we'll start with the offense, boys. Let's go ahead and start with the OU offense and their performance in the game. I thought this game showed. I was talking to Ryan about this, Mark, off air. If you weren't on the Dylan Gabriel bandwagon for being the quarterback of this team for next year, and you want a true freshman in Jackson Arnold to be the starter, and you watched that game last night and you still feel the same way, then there's really no helping you, because Dylan Gabriel balled out. In my opinion,
he did.
He balled out, and he was one of the main reasons, and those two running backs were the main reasons that OU was even in that game. And I thought they played fantastic all night long. Dylan Gabriel had pressure in his face every time he dropped back. They had 6 sacks. Florida State had 6 sacks. It felt like 12, honestly. It was disgusting to see how poorly the offensive line performed. And I know that they had backups in young guys and all that stuff. But
I think it's important to note that Florida State was sending pressure often too.
Agreed. For sure.
Some of that was sending more guys than we had ready to go. Yeah.
But the first point I wanted to make was just how well Dylan Gabriel played and how happy I am that I think Dylan's coming back. By all indications, he's coming back. But
we still don't know.
Who the heck knows? What do you guys see? First overall thoughts on the offense?
Uh, it's the lowest number of completions Dylan's had all year. It's one of the lowest number of attempts games he's had all year. It's one of the lowest yardage games he's had all year. And I generally agree with everything you said. I think we saw the same problems that we've seen with Dylan. He overthrows the ball. He cannot see over the offensive line, and that's why he can't throw the ball in that intermediate range at all. That is, that's just going to be a nitpick that I have forever. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. It's not an incorrect take.
But for all the issues with Jeff Lebby that we had this year, I thought he drew up an awesome game plan. I thought he coached a very good game. I think he knew what he had in Javonte Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk more than the rest of us did. And
Jesus Christ.
And it seems like last night was sort of the perfect culmination of what he wants a game to be. Right? We had two backs go over 100 yards. We had Jaleel got a receiving touchdown. There were other opportunities that just were there and we missed them.
Yeah.
And it's easy to envision like another touchdown pass or two if we play that game, 100 times out of Dylan Gabriel, right? The opportunities were there, and I really like what Jeff Lebby did last night.
Ryan?
Yeah. I mean, kind of touching on Dylan a little bit, I agree with everything you said, Mace. I thought he played really well. And I know he had the lowest, attempts and lowest completions and stuff, but I think there was just like a presence about him last night that felt more like
he felt like the leader last night.
Yeah, he felt more like the leader. He had a couple incredible runs on third down that got us the first down. You could tell he wanted it, and like you could feel that, and like that was awesome to see. Yeah, he's still got the same issues. I think honestly his biggest issue is he doesn't know how to throw the ball away. He holds it way too long. And I mean, that's also because he was getting a ton of pressure last night. So I thought he played great. You guys have already touched on Javonte Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk.
But we need to touch on them again. They were amazing.
Let's keep touching on those boys.
They were fantastic. And I mean, I really feel for Gavin on that fumble toward the end of the game. That fumble probably turned the game for us in a bad way, which tie game at that point, and I know puts a lot on his shoulders. But he's a freshman, man. He is.
I know
they both are. I mean, they're gonna be great. And I'm super like I was very, very nervous about a run game next year, and I am not nervous anymore. And that's awesome. That's awesome to feel that way. Receiving, I thought everyone played okay. I thought Farouk probably played the best out of our receivers. Marvin Mims had that fantastic long catch, but he only had 2 receptions, which is weird.
Both of his catches were amazing. They were so good.
Amazing. But he only had 2. So
I know.
I don't know how many targets he had. I don't have that.
I don't know either.
But and then I want to touch on the O-line a little bit too, because the commentators or the announcers just kept saying, "Oh, this like ragtag group of offensive linemen that Oklahoma has," because we really didn't have anybody. We lost our left tackle and our right tackle because they didn't play. We didn't have our center. I'm pretty sure that
then Chris Murray went out.
Sexton got hurt, right? Right.
Or no, it was Sexton. You're right. It was Sexton. You're right. It was Sexton. Yeah.
We had Bird in there, who had 2 really bad holding calls in like the first half, I think. They didn't play great, but honestly, we didn't expect them to play great. So I thought what the offense was able to do in like we only lost by 3 points. We had 6 sacks. It did feel like 12. But the fact that we were able to continue to move the ball like that, I mean, guys, we had 253 rushing yards and 243 passing yards. I mean, we kept up with them yardage wise, like without having really an offensive line. That's really great. Overall, I think they played really great, really balanced.
60 attempts on the ground is the most that OU had all year, and that's with no Eric Gray. That's without 2 NFL offensive linemen. Yeah. Right. Really, really great game plan. And
I think that compliment
Gavin Sawchuk, man.
I know Gavin Sawchuk was amazing, but to Mark's point about the attempts and being so productive with that offensive line, that's credit to Jeff Lebby where it's due, man. His scheme was right. They studied the tape. They knew where they could attack this Florida State team, a Florida State team that was essentially full go. They had their due.
Oh yeah.
So, and keep in mind, people, that's the 13th ranked defense in the country. Like they're a solid team, and OU did very, very well. I think the story for me for the offense is going to be just missed opportunities and miscues. So you have the touchdown from Gavin Sawchuk that's taken back for a holding call. Then you miss that field goal. You have the fumble from Gavin Sawchuk. You have in the field goal. You have in the first quarter a deep pass to Marvin Mims where if you lead him literally at all, it's a touchdown. But you underthrow him, so it's dead. You have other opportunities.
Marvin should still catch that football.
That's
Marvin
fair.
Not catching that football is why he's going to be back at OU next year. Boomer Sooner. Continue. I'm sorry.
I agree with that. And then also you have the offensive line struggles with pressure all day. In the biggest drive of the game, your offensive line costs you 10 crucial seconds on a runoff. Yep. And then Tyler Guyton gets absolutely manhandled on a bull rush to kill the final play. Yep. And they only sent 3. You have to block that. You have to at least give Dylan a chance to throw the ball. And I mean, honestly, guys, when OU got the ball back with 55 seconds left, down 3, I go, this is going to be a tie game. They can do this with no timeout. With no timeout. I thought they could.
I did not.
I thought they could. I felt good about it. I really did. After the 10-second runoff, I did it.
We've just not done it all year. That's the thing. And that was the thing that cursed this team all season. Like you said, Mason, I think it's 5 one-score losses, 4 of them by 3 points.
Yeah.
Feels like every game comes down to moments like we had last night. And for some reason, the offense can't execute when it's time to execute. I've been singing Jeff Lebby's praises. That's part of, being an offensive coordinator too, is understanding situational play calling and getting yourself down the field. Why are we running the ball so much with no timeouts with a minute left or 55 seconds left like that?
Yep.
It's because you don't trust your passing game.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. So I guess really loved Jeff Lebby last night, but also we saw some warts.
That's fair. Anything else on the offense before we move on? I just one more time for those 2 running backs, man. The future is so bright in that room. Credit to DeMarco Murray for recruiting those guys. Credit to this staff for trusting those guys enough to give them that many carries. And look, man, I'll take the fumble. I know it sucks in the fourth quarter. It's a tie game. You can't lose the ball. And he knows that, and he'll get better from that. I'm glad it was now and not in the 2023 regular season when we're playing Texas in the Cotton Bowl and it was in the Cheez-It Bowl, honestly. So I think both those running backs played so well. And respectfully, if I'm Marcus Major, I'm wondering when that transfer window closes because I might need to get out if I want to get some burn.
Agreed with that.
I mean, they were incredible. They were so good, and we can't sing their praises enough. I don't think the future is bright in that running back room.
Javonte Barnes carries dudes through the hole. Gavin Sawchuk he's got such burst that they don't even touch him, and then he's 5 yards down the field. It was awesome.
His cuts were disgusting. His vision was so good, so good.
And then he accelerates. He's just right there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Credit to those guys, man. They played so great. Okay, let's get to the defense.
Real fast, every starter except for Braden Willis from last night is supposed to come back next year. How crazy is that?
That's nuts.
Well, we don't know. We don't know about Dylan. We don't know about Marvin.
Yeah, Dylan's coming back. Marvin's coming back.
Just officially, we don't know yet.
I know.
Dylan's coming
That's
back.
all.
I know. You're journalistically, you're
I
right.
just don't. I don't want us to get caught in this stupid
Yeah.
We said everybody was coming back.
I know. Who cares? Okay. The defense.
Lovely.
Here's my biggest problem with the defense. You shouldn't score. Once again, I feel like I've said this 10 times this year. You should not score 32 points in a game and ever lose a football game. Period. Point blank, end of discussion. You shouldn't. You just shouldn't. And they lost the football game after scoring 32 points. The defense, once again, when there's no pressure, first half, fourth downs, maybe you stop them, maybe you don't. When there's no pressure, they're there. They're ready to make plays. As soon as the intensity is turned up and you need to stop, dead in the water. And that's the way it's been all year. And I remember watching last night and looking at the final drive for Florida State, having 3 minutes left. I'm like, I know how this story ends. I know how it ends. And I thought that they could do something different. But no, man.
Then they let up a 30-yard QB run right at that moment. So.
Yes. It's just, I think that's my biggest problem with the defense, man. Like they play well when there's no pressure. And as soon as you need to stop, they crap down their leg. And I've just never seen anything like it. I just don't understand it. That's all I have right now because I don't know what else to say. So
yeah, I mean, so I actually thought the defense played pretty well in the first half. Like you were kind of saying, Mason. I thought especially that first quarter, they played really well. They had some really big stops. They showed up, and we were like, we actually showed up today. And then the second half, we saw the same defense that we've seen all year. And it is atrociously bad when we rush 3 and their receivers are just wide open and there's no one around. And we saw that a lot yesterday. And that we've seen that all year. I mean, they do slants, they do things up the middle, and we just like we can't be around them. Like our secondary just gets burned every single time.
Yeah.
And we saw that in the second half. I mean, they scored out of their 35 points, 24 of those came in the second half. 17 came in the fourth quarter. So I mean, that's a story right there. That's like you're progressively getting worse as you need to get better. Yeah. And we've talked about not having the horses. We've talked about those kind of things. But for mostly, we didn't really have any opt-outs on the defensive side, did we?
Jalen Redmond.
He was the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a loss, but also at the same time, like they've played all year. I don't feel like they got any better in like the month that they had. While the offense, I thought, showed something different and showed something like aspiring and kind of, I actually feel okay going in the next year with some of the running back game that we have going. Like the defense, it's the same old shit. It's the same old shit. Yeah. And I mean, I do have to give credit. I thought Danny Stutzman played a really good game.
I thought he played well. I thought he was
losing speed on that one tackle.
Yeah.
Y'all know the one I'm talking about. Insane, man.
Yeah.
That's what Danny Stutzman can be.
I think Mark, I'll get this is all I have before you go. I think my highlights were Danny and Billy Bowman, and I think easily the worst ones. I don't want to say worst, but my lowlights were definitely Key Lawrence, and Key Lawrence was bad, man. Mm-hmm. And Deshaun White didn't really have a good game either.
No, he didn't.
No. And did we see Jaron Kanak like at all?
I saw him
special teams.
Yeah, on a kickoff return. Saw him on a kickoff return. Yeah,
punt. We were doing that weird fake punt almost that we burned a timeout instead. Yes. And Jaron Kanak, he's the one who came in and I guess would have been the Wildcat quarterback punt team.
All right, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I thought that they were coached up pretty well over the month because we opened up to 14-3 lead, and actually like that first drive, you let up that run against Jordan Travis all the way down the field, and then you hold them within the 10. That's awesome. That's the defense that Brent Venables was brought here to coach, right? Mm-hmm. I think as the game went on, and we saw this throughout the year, I guess guys get worn out. I guess something just breaks down throughout the game, and they lose that mental fortitude to play the right way. Key Lawrence cannot break down and make a tackle. Reggie Pearson, get to town, baby. Hey, we need you. We need you.
Yeah.
It's tough because we did see a lot of the same things, rushing 3s, leaving 8 back, and then the quarterback is somehow able to run.
Yeah.
You have 8 guys whose job is to look at the quarterback and read him when you're in a zone defense, and just a lot of the same issues. But I did think we opened up very strong. I was encouraged by that, and I am encouraged for the future on that side of the ball. Maybe even more than I am the offense, honestly.
For sure. Yeah. I can agree. I can agree with that. You didn't get pressure again.
Right.
Which you had to do.
Didn't spy the quarterback.
And the
Yeah.
times you did, you didn't
I
finish the
know.
play.
No,
I know.
Right? You let him toss a ball to a receiver, or you don't get him down. You
Yeah.
can't let Jordan Travis do that. He's going to eat your lunch.
Any big play that Florida State had, I felt like I saw somebody missing a tackle, arm tackling, diving at ankles and missing. I just felt like they were super undisciplined on the defensive side of the ball, especially for having a month of practice and trying to figure this out.
They out-physicaled the crap out of us.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you can especially tell on the defensive line, they're not big enough. They're just not. And I think that'll change with time. Obviously, you know, they're going to have some bodies come in, but yeah, it's what we saw all year. They were just out physical on the defensive front. The linebackers can only do so much. I thought on the Wildcat touchdown that Florida State had, David Agwebu just didn't fill the hole. And that's where they ran right through to the easy Wildcat touchdown. And you could see on the end zone view, David Agwebu just got there too late. And he should have seen that earlier. But I mean, that's nitpicky. I thought David had a solid game. I thought he played okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just like a couple things that I want to point out are Jordan Travis having 418 passing yards is insane. And then Johnny Wilson, their main receiver, having 202 yards off 8 receptions. That we just can't. That can't happen. That can't happen.
All right, I agree with you, and also to some degree. Johnny Wilson is 6'7".
I know.
And we don't have a defensive back taller than, I think he is like 6'1" or 6'2". And it's not like he was making plays last night. All they did was, hey, Johnny, run deep, and I'm going to throw a jump ball. You got to stop that, but the guy's Randy Moss, so it's hard.
That's fair. I
had never heard of Johnny Wilson before this game. Right. Like
yeah, you did. Because I discussed it on the preview podcast.
Other than that, is what I meant. But like, you know, we have to figure that out. Like we had the same problem with TCU. I remember that specifically.
Oh yeah.
Massive dude. What's his name? Washington?
Just big physical receivers. Something
like that. He like these big physical receivers. We've had problems with them for 5 years, 6 years, really.
Well, we've had problems with every version of big gigantic receiver Texas has thrown at us because they have them every year. Because that's what they needed. They needed like 6'5" dudes with long arms because Sam Ehlinger could only get it so close to his guys, right? Mm-hmm. And now TCU's got him. Johnny killed us.
Yeah, it's like it's a trend, and I'm hoping to see some changes associated with that, and I think we'll see them like. And I didn't, you know, when I first started talking about the defense, I said like I wasn't like inspired or anything, and I'm kind of worried about the future. I'm not. I'm genuinely like excited about the classes that Brent is going to bring in. Like I truly believe we did see some spark in like the first quarter. That like, hey, if we can make that 4 quarters of that, hey, sign me up, baby. Mm-hmm. You know, but like it's annoying when a team has a month to prepare and we see the same shit again.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new.
I think this game left me feeling more than ever that this team's going to be just fine with Brent Venables. And
yeah,
like I grow more confident by the week in Brent Venables and this staff. I think they know what they're doing, man. I really do. They know they are knowing how to game plan. You could tell that Florida State was kind of taken aback in the first half because you got Jordan Travis on the sideline trying to calm his guys down and saying, hey, let's pick it up or whatever, because he knows like, oh crap, like we got a chance to get blown out right now. Yeah, we're supposed to beat the crap out of them, and we could have a chance to get blown out right now. So they had a good game plan coming in. I think eventually stuff just breaks down and teams adjust to your weaknesses and they go, oh yeah, so they don't know how to play zone coverage at the linebacker position. We can attack that, right?
Yeah.
So then, it's just stuff like that. But
and I think one other thing to bring up is, and this is just kind of a general comment, we basically played an away game. So
I mean, yeah,
that stadium was
for sure.
95% Florida State and completely full. So like it was very loud on their side, and which I mean that's expected. Tallahassee is like what 3 hours away from Orlando,
Not far,
so
easily
I mean,
drivable.
I think that was another thing coming into it that we knew was going to be a thing, and I thought the team overall did pretty well with it. I just think some of the defensive stuff, same stuff, different day.
Anything else big picture wise that we want to cover? Mark, anything stick out to you?
A lot of the guys on the defense, just like the offense, will be coming back next season, and we're going to get an infusion of talent through the portal, through freshmen that may be able to make plays, through new sophomores that maybe weren't ready this season, but will be ready as sophomores next year. I'm thinking guys like Kip Lewis, obviously Jaden Kanek, Gentry Williams, Jaden Rowe, dudes that just didn't really get opportunities throughout the season. Those are now players in your defense. So really excited to see what that looks like, and really who the starting 11 ends up being next season, because we saw in the first half, especially the first quarter, I think what a Brent Venables defense looks like and can do when it's optimal, right? When it's working how it should. And the guys that I just mentioned there, the guys that we might be bringing in to make plays next year, all of those guys are pretty optimal for the defense. And so future's bright.
Can agree with that. Anything else before we get out of here, boys? Thanks for
I know you love him. I know you love him, Mason, but I think your guy Dan Orlovsky was awful last night. He's just like, look at their linebackers. They're 1, 3, and 4 in tackles. They're the leaders on this team.
Yeah,
dog. Every team's linebackers lead the team in tackles.
I do love Dan. I didn't get to hear a lot of it last night because I was watching the game while I was working, so I was I had it on my phone, so I couldn't hear a lot. Dan's been like that all year, though. He does his research and he's very good, but sometimes he just takes generalizations and he's like, that's the rule.
I like him on the NFL. I don't like him on college. I know his expertise is better there. I think
I can agree with that as well. But Bob was choosing. I like Bob. Just his
see the other guy that was with him.
Yeah, the play-by-play.
Yeah.
I think it's Bob was choosing.
One thing I want to say about the broadcast is they gave us 10 points in the first quarter. We kicked a field goal.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And I literally walked out of the room and I came back and it was 10-3. And I was like, what? I was like, I didn't see us kick a field goal.
Yeah.
And they had it up there for
they did
10 minutes.
They had it up for a while. Yeah.
And I was like, how can you guys be this bad?
I thought I was going, thought I was going crazy.
We are it's the December 29th midday game. We are not getting
at
ESPN's A team on the production squad.
In case you're just watching this and didn't know, by the way, Texas lost to Washington in the Alamo Bowl. And if that makes anyone feel any better.
In the middle of the state of Texas. They lost by 7 to Washington.
If it makes you feel literally any better. Made me feel a little better. So,
I don't think the Big 12 has won a single bowl game.
I don't know if they've
won one. Maybe they've won one, but
Texas Tech beat Ole Miss. That's the only one.
I'll be literally shocked if TCU wins the playoff game. We'll talk about that on our.
Can we do? Are we doing MVPs, Mace?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Do them.
Okay. Gavin Sawchuk. I think it was just a beautiful coming out party. Yeah. And I know he had the fumble, but I hope he gets over that. And I am super, super excited to see him in the future.
Mark.
I would go with Gavin, but because you did, I won't. I'll go Billy Bowman. He was the only defender that I thought played the right way all game long, right? Everyone else had some boo-boos, and I thought Billy played really well. So MVP, Billy Bowman.
I'll go Dylan Gabriel. I mean, a lesser quarterback facing what he would have faced last night would have folded completely and given up in a bowl game, whether you believe it or not. Somewhat meaningless. OU didn't play like it was meaningless.
No, they didn't.
And they didn't at all, and that's credit to them. But and Dylan played his butt off, and he played hard for that team, and he left it all out there, and credit to him. And I hope that wasn't his last game at OU, but if it was, he left a good taste in my mouth regardless. I will be a Dylan Gabriel guy for sure.
I just cannot imagine him leaving.
No, I know.
Where's he going to go?
Nowhere.
Where's he going to go?
He can't go to the NFL.
Musical
Not
chairs
yet.
have pretty much finished at the quarterback position.
I know. Also, before we get out of here, happy birthday to producer Trevor. Trevor Morse is, I think he's younger. I think he's younger than me. I don't think he's 30 yet. But happy birthday to producer Trevor. Appreciate all your help. And that's going to do it for this whole season, our first full season of football for the Program Guys podcast.
Ooh.
And if you're watching this right now and you're still with us, thank you so much for being with us every week, letting us vent with you after these games on this postgame podcast. They're one of our more popular uploads, just because people want to vent and feel bad or feel good about the win. And we get it. That's why we started doing this. And we appreciate you all coming along for the ride. Anything else you guys want to say?
Hey, y'all are the program. We're just the guys. That's right. That's what it is, man. Thank you all for listening and for going on the ride with us. It's been, I don't know if it was the season we wanted, but doing this with y'all made it one of the most fun seasons I've had.
Yeah.
Just this was great. This has been great.
And don't give up on us in the off season. We got some fun stuff coming. I think. We're bringing back Must Watch. You guys gotta know what to watch.
Bringing back Must Watch. We're
you're gonna hear us talk so many like random other sport things.
I know,
guys.
Hey, XFL is back this year.
Victor Wembanyama, baby.
XFL.
Boots on the ground at Bob Stoops, Arlington Renegades.
The Gades, man. Gades.
But interview Bob.
That'd be fun. We could try
and get him.
We could try.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. Thank you all so much again and be sure to like, subscribe while you're here and you're watching this. Subscribe to the channel, please. Trying to get to 1,500 subs.
You just heard us thank you profusely and you're not subscribed.
Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be a tough look for you. Tough look for you being a program guy or gal. You know what I mean? But that's going to do it for this week's episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, Program Guys with a Z. By the way, shout out Mark last night, live tweeting the game. If you liked our Twitter last night and saw all those tweets, that was all Mark. So shout out to Mark. He did a great job.
Yo, let us know what y'all think. If that's something you want us to do next year, not everyone's at the game. So someone can hang it or take it.
Yeah, it was great. Great job, Mark. So follow us on Instagram, Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. We will be back next week with episode number 52. That's going to do it. Ryan, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.